I'm going to make a part 2 to the hybridization video, so if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Basically, I said that, like, we are on Earth right now, going through an ascension process, and Dolores Cannon talked about the hybridization of souls in her books. She calls it imprinting. It's these souls imprint on other souls. I call it hybridization. All souls are technically hybridized. So there's Earth seeds. There are Earth souls whose consciousness was seeded here on this planet, and that's why they don't have empathy or logic like we do. Us star seeds, 104,000 chosen ones, people who are just empathetic and have pattern recognition, because they just aren't, their consciousness just doesn't exist in more planets or more dimensions, because they started on this one. And so what we do, us starseeds, when we come down here, we hybridize our souls with the oldest human souls that exist, right? The oldest ones, like the ones that need to break their generational curses. And that's like what we do. That's why we're like a little bit different, because like, the people who are breaking out of these patterns that their families weren't able to, that comes from your alien multiplanetary self. The part of you that wants to conform and keep the peace and not change, that's your human self. That you're, so you can see like the difference, right? Okay, which is a little freaky. Same thing goes with Trump and friends. They're also hybridized souls, but they come from male universes. They come from universes that are run by men and the male masculine energy. And it's a very distorted universe, because that's just like what they're doing over there right now. That's just like what they're deep in the shadows of God. And so they come to Earth, just like we come to Earth, right? We both come to Earth and hybridize with human souls for ascension processes. They do it to serve as the contrast, as the polarity. And so like that's why like Elon Musk, he's like says he's like this ancient alien. He's like come out and said that. And it's because he's like having remembrance from his parallel lives. And they also, that's why they are capable of things that normal humans are not. Because that's their alien self. When they're doing these horrendous, horrible, yucky, terrible things, that's the alien side of them. The human side of them is like the masking, going golfing, being selfish, that kind of stuff, right? That's like their human side of themselves. Like they have... Our human side of ourselves is more people-pleasy. Theirs is, again, like more domination, control, that kind of stuff. But then they're able to do, like, impossible things, right? Which is, like, what they've been doing, trafficking and harming children in the ways that they have been. Eating children, all that shit. That comes from their multiplanetary souls. And so that's where we get... So... Technically, all souls are hybrid, but not all souls are multiplanetary. Actually, a big chunk of people down here are not multiplanetary. They started their evolution on this planet. And so that's why they just don't have the reference or the abilities or capabilities to even, like, go into the realms of, like, aliens exist or, like, these things exist or things like that. Because here on this planet, they don't. Yet. Now they're going to. So now, this is going to help these other souls also expand their consciousness, so when they go off into other dimensions and they go off exploring again, they will be able to be more like privy to shit like this going on in other dimensions, where they're not as limited in their belief capabilities. So we're expanding their abilities and capabilities as souls by going through this ascension process without them actually having to do like the hard labor, the hard work, like us starseeds, light work is at 144,000. Like we've had to obviously do this all on our own in the midst of a collapse. We have each other through the phones, but that's it. I get the song Kiss Me Through the Phone, which I think is a Chris Brown song. But yeah, and like in Yeshua's times, like we would just go down to the temple and see each other. I'd go to my astrologers and my tarot readers and people like you guys, like, actually physically go see you guys, right? But now it's like, okay, we just have these phones and we're separated and we're all doing this work all on our own, but also together because we're supporting and helping each other. But also a lot of it's like in complete isolation. And that's like the next, because each ascension gets more difficult. Each ascension raises like a layer, you know, like that, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like a video game. It is like kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's creepy how much this is like video games and computers actually are just mirrors to what we are. But it's true, because we're computers. We have to put in our zeros and ones, all this programming that we have to get rid of by putting in new programming. And, you know, repeating it over and over and over and over until it sticks in our computer brains, which is why a lot of us, like, watch a bunch of tarot readings, we watch a bunch of content like this, because we are seeding over and over and over, like, this information, and that's why we feel drawn to it. Like, none of my friends felt drawn to this shit, you know, and I'm just over here, like, I'm obsessed with, like, UFO documentaries and conspiracy theory documentaries and all this stuff for years. Found it so fascinating. True crime I love too, because I thought because human behavior fascinates me. It horrifies me, but it also fascinates me at the same time. That's duality, holding two truths at once. It's horrifying, but it's also very fascinating to observe and witness. You're like, wow, you just don't even realize like the capabilities that souls have, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm getting about it. There is not just us who are hybridized souls down here. It's also Trump and friends and Epstein and all that shit. That's why they're capable of things that most humans are not capable of, but that's also us. That's the polarity. We are capable of things most humans are not. Now, theirs is in like the worst way ever, and ours is in the best way, because we're overcoming all this shit. You know, so again, God is setting the stage for this ascension right now, and you can see that going on, and we're getting really close now, guys. I mean, we have maybe 2 more years before like literally the entire world changes forever. I mean, the world has already changed forever with all this shit going on, but I mean like in a sense where everybody's gonna know what's going on. It's not just gonna be like us hiding in the shadows, but it's like that same thing with the conspiracy theories. Like, so many years people were like, oh, this shit's going on, and it was like, you're nuts. And now obviously with the proof with Epstein files, that kind of stuff, so that's gonna be happening to us. We're gonna get vindication once again.